Hello, Sharon.
Hi, hello. How are you?
I'm great. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah. Um, and I've been following you, but we haven't really touched base in a long, long while.
You haven't got time to follow me. I don't think you're following me.
I am following you. I've seen all the great things that you have been doing, the books you have been writing, and all that.
Thank you. Well, great. That sounds like exaggeration. I'm
No,
doing
no.
my little bit.
Inspired by you, inspired by you. That's why I have to reach out to you. Want to hear about the inspiration and use inspiration to inspire others. So that's where I am. And
thank you.
I'm happy you have agreed and to join us.
And I'm truly honored to be invited. Well, flabbergasted and honored. Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you. Really nice.
It's a pleasure. Focusing on, just looking back on, your childhood growing up to now, the things that inspired you, the people who impacted you, whether it's a teacher, parents, friends, whatever it is. And it's basically showing that, we are impacting others even without us knowing that others are looking on. And trying to get that message across to adults as well as to realize that we can be of inspiration to others positively.
Yeah, you are really, really right about that. And funny enough, many times you are most impactful when you don't set out to even be. Just by being true to yourself, understanding what your values are and living those values on a daily basis, particularly if you're a person of faith, if you're a child of God, by adhering to what the Lord has commanded you to, how the Lord has commanded you to live, you can be of such huge impact that sometimes you don't even realize it. But usually when you're so into you and you want you to be out there, that's usually a bit of counterproductive. But just by living according to God's ordinances and living your values, living your gifts and your talents, you can really, really make a difference without even trying.
I take it you're not in nursing anymore, right?
No.
You left that about 10 years ago.
Well, the bedside bit of it. Well, actually, not really bedside. I did dialysis since I've been here for a couple of years. And then I went over to supervising a number of wards. So that, again, was not bedside. But it's literally just quality, ensuring that the quality out of the social hours was the same as within social hours. So you would maintain what's called 24/7 working.
Yes.
So the quality and the standard remains the same, irrespective of whether the senior managers like the 8s and 9s and 10s, are around or not. And then I moved on to work in operations as one of the managers and moved up to one of the seniors there. So it's been an interesting journey for me. Currently, I was quite firm within myself that I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. So I done my MBA about 3 years ago. I finished that, and then I started looking arduously for something outside of, say, the hospital per se, or if it was meant to be in the hospital, then it would be more again around quality improvement initiative, project management, etc. So God has been good, and I'm now with NHS England and Improvement, where I am working with programs, initiatives that make a difference across the country nationally, and that's quite rewarding. With regards to the philanthropy side of things, that was about 12 years ago. My husband and I celebrated our anniversary at the time, and literally on the anniversary, we were at the Sunday school training. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I was sat in the hotel and we were planning the lessons for the week under the guidance of the person who was training us how to do that intentionally. I don't know, it's like the Holy Spirit just said to me, that what we can do is to send books, clean reading materials back to Jamaica, to inner city and rural communities, to help to make a difference. I had no idea what was the strategy, how I would do it, what the model would look like.
Yeah.
But I just said yes to the Lord. I told my husband, he was 100% on board, which is so important. We came back, we strategized, got a group of people together, it's registered as a charity, the Jamaica Lit Foundation, which means Jamaica Literacy Foundation. And what that does is, it's got a tagline. If you know me, I love to be funny and wacky and all of that. So true to me, it's called Making Reading Fashionable, Giving Illiteracy a right fright. Because again, it ties in with, again, my values for education and constantly learning. You never stop learning. You learn from everywhere, everyone, anything, any situation, negative or positive. It's a learning opportunity for me. So and I like sharing with people, because I feel that the more you know, the more informed you are, the more you're able to take decisions that are just right. Because hindsight can appear to be the best thing, but you know what, not many people have the luxury of hindsight, and you go on to making some real detrimental choices that just, you know, you would just cry, be sad for a long time. So yeah, that's that side. That's been going on now, when we continue to supply libraries, schools, whether secondary or primary. If it's a pharmacy and they would like it, we send literature, clean reading material to them. If it's a prison, we send to them. And children's home, nursing homes. I think the only place we haven't gone yet is in the hospital.
Okay.
So I haven't been able to make good links with there yet to have that. And when I say clean reading material, it's because usually you want people to read, but you don't want people reading the wrong thing. So it's not just Bible, because it's about making people want to read, want to pick up something and just inform yourself, probably about flu, or probably about who is ruling China, or probably about you know, what's the present food thing on the horizon for your skin, or something like, you know, just anything, everything. Yeah. And then in terms of business, we do real estate, but primarily what we focus on, particularly in the last 3 to 5 years, is helping other low income community members to set up their own care homes via the CQC registration and all of that. So if you want to set up a care home or any sort of social enterprise, we assist with that. We, meaning myself, my husband, and another very good friend that I met at the hospital as well, who has also left and got her own care home as well. So it's been a bit of a journey, and I enjoy those things, because I really enjoy helping people in whatever way I can.
Yeah, you seems like you have your hands in a lot of things, and I know you are not somebody who loves to sit still. You're always looking for new opportunity. And of course, I can't forget the very first time when I came to this country 20 odd years ago. You were the one who took me around and showed me. So, you know, I can say that's definitely.
I'm 21. Don't tell anybody we were here 20 years ago.
Is that long? 20 or 20 weeks ago, maybe?
Oh dear, don't lie on my account. Let's just say 20. That is so true. Yeah, that's true. That was so fun on those double-decker buses. My God.
I know. I can't forget those days.
Oh.
And you have also written a few novels. I think it's the second one has just been out.
Yes, I've published a novel. Yes, that's right. Orchids and Roses, that was last year. And then this year I've published what's sort of like a semi-biography of sorts, kind of mini, but it's literally primarily around my journey with Christ since 16 years old. Yeah, so there, one is the novel. So you want me to tell you a little bit about the novel? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so the novel Orchids and Roses, funny enough, is not the first book I've written, but the first I've been confident to publish. Right. And the first novel is still sitting on my laptop. That one I'm likely to, it's with the editors anyway. So by December, Christmas time, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get that out, providing it meets industry standard by her measure. Right. But Orchids and Roses, it may sound like a plant-based thing, but then funny again, I entered my bathroom and an orchid plant that my husband bought me some while back. I can't forget, from M&S. And I was like, I love looking at plants, but how am I going to care it? Because I don't consider myself to be green-fingered. I just knew it was gonna die, So I
Yeah.
kept telling him, "Oh my gosh, it's not gonna last for very long." So I'd rather just buy me a bunch of flowers from somewhere in the last 2 weeks, and I just don't have to feel guilty about it. But anyway, funny enough, it stayed there for a while, and then it really looked as if it had died. And I went and I said to him, "See, I told you it's gonna die." He said, "Listen, just leave the thing alone." So went back a couple of times. He's been the one watering it and all of that. And I suppose talking to it as well, because he said you need to communicate with the plant. But anyway, went, and another time I saw it literally blooming. So I said to him, "Oh wow, it's funny, like you said, that it would bloom again." And it's like right there, literally just looking at the plant, I am sure it's the Holy Spirit on my own. Our God is very creative.
Yeah.
God is and he's made us in his image and in his likeness. So I think he's made us to be creative beings as well.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the voices, you may not think you are, but you are. Everybody has some measure of creativity. So he just literally said to me, "That's how people are. This minute, you feel as if you are this absolutely beautiful person, everything is going right, and then another time you just get completely knocked down and you're wondering, where are my petals, where are my fruits, or where what is about me or on me, can people see that?" And you just feel like you've gone underground, not physically but literally, metaphorically. So just started writing, just took my laptop and started writing like a crazy person. And then I was thinking orchids and roses, and I thought roses, but roses are actually absolutely beautiful. They smell really nice. But then it's like, roses are prickly. And I said, but that's life. Because life looks so beautiful, but it has these pricks that can come at you. So when I was doing my research, which if you want to produce anything of worth to sort of like edutain people, you should really research thoroughly. And I found out that roses, there are so many varieties. And also of that variety, there are some that are more prickly than others. I didn't even know that. So I thought, my gosh, that's just life. You're pricked by life's roses, and then you become so wilted and scared and afraid. And that's what happened to the protagonist, Elizabeth. She became so wilted. Her prick was via her mom becoming ill with Alzheimer's, and she being an only child, having such an amazing relationship with her mom. She didn't know what to do, just started her career. Everything's going for her. She was completely discombobulated. So in the end, she took some decisions that were not of the best because of the situation she was in. But thank God for 3 very good friends and a pastor, she was able to find her way back. And in the end, on her wedding day, and I just hasten to the end, she trampled on those rose petals and overcame, So I hope somebody will enjoy it and know within themselves that I too can overcome. But most importantly, don't take long-term decisions during a temporary discomfort.
That's amazing, and everybody should get a copy of that book. And at the end, you'll tell us where we can all get our copies and so forth. So we have Sharon Scott with us, Sharon P Scott, and she's an author, she's an entrepreneur, she's a governor, she is into everything. But I want to go back to hearing from Sharon about her days as the little child growing up, because you have to start from there. And because you're doing so much now, but I want to know the journey to where you are now. What was Sharon like as a child?
Oh, dear Lord. As a child, I can tell you 2 things that happened to me that would probably summarize me. So I'm the youngest of 5 children, now 4 of us because my brother passed away sadly.
I'm sorry.
So when I was in year 2, I remember I got picked up on at my first primary school, DuPont Primary. I had, Sky Juice.
Yes.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know what my mother was doing. Probably she gave me 20 cents or something like that. And I bought Sky Juice thinking I'm hot, 8 years old. And this girl just came and poured it all over my white blouse with my blue uniform. And I was startled. I was like, why on earth would you do that? And she said, because I'm too stush. I didn't even think I understood the meaning of the word at the time. She literally just came at me. So my mother thought, now the word is bullied, but at the time it was called picked upon, or, people on you and whatnot. And all these girls, about 3 of them, I can't forget. One of them was Cameron, and my mom went by her house found her house after school and complained to her parent. Okay, went to a different primary school, St. Patrick's Primary, obviously both located in Kingston. And in year, what was I in? I think I was in year 4 or 5, when the name got stuck on me, Stushy Bushy, Stushy Bushy, Stushy Bushy. Then I went up to high school, and then everybody in high school kept calling me Miss Upton, Miss Upton, Miss Upton. Craig, believe you me, I had no idea why people would say or do that, because for me, when I go home as the youngest, at home, I'll be reading a book. I'll find a book from any one of the libraries, whether I'm permitted to or not, and I'll be reading a novel of some sort. Not Mills and Boone, because obviously not, but I'll read anything like Daniel Steele and Sidney Sheldon, Catherine Coulter, all those things that were a little bit older than my age. My poor mother just used to get mad and say, you need to tidy the house, you need to do this, but you're in the book, you're not even in school books. And I would hide it under the pillow, I'll hide it under the bed. But it just took me to another world, that I was able to think and dream and have all these illusions of grandeur as a child. Growing up in Jamaica, poor, young and all of that, never have older brothers and sisters to play with because they got married and gone long time. Like I said, there's a between me and the older ones, and he passed away. So the closest connection I'd have had to my siblings got severed, and just left me with about 9-8 years difference between myself and my older siblings. So it's just been me and my mom and my dad as well. And I grew extremely close from year 2, when my mom defended me so vehemently, and she was just out there. She really took them to task on what that child did to me and how wrong it was. And we just grew so close without me even realizing it. She became like the best friend, even to this day, I tell you. And that's just how it was.
So children were picking on you in primary school because they said you were too stush. You were not engaging and interacting with them. They felt that you were thinking that you were better off than them. So how did you manage that throughout your primary school life? What did you do did you make friends, or were there teachers that helped you to journey through that?
No teacher whatsoever, I can tell you. That's number one. Number two, I never had close connection with the students. I did not know why that I was seen as different. I didn't understand at the time. I know we go to church, and church was a massive part of our life. Every Friday we're at youth meeting. Even at church, I got stuck in my eye. And when my mom asked the girl, why did you stick her in her eye? She said, because she doesn't like the way my eyes looked. She just literally, in church, she just stuck me in my eye. Like, she walked up to me. We were standing there in like a group of us as little girls. I was about 10 or 11 at the time. And she just came up and just stuck me in my eye. And my mom went to her and said, why did you do that? And she said, because I don't like how her eyes look. I don't like the way she looks, how she looks in people or something like that. I was so confused. I had no clue. I just felt like I didn't have anybody in the world. All I've got is my mother. Just have my mother. That's the only person. My father wouldn't understand, because he wasn't really, he's an Adventist.
Yes.
Well, was, because he's passed away. And my mom's Sunday worshiper. So my father was super peaceful. While my mom, she's peaceful, but she's assertive.
Yeah.
She will say something.
So did that knock your confidence as you went through high school, secondary school?
Maybe it did, because I totally withdrew. I was never one to open. I would never be vulnerable. I would never talk about, you know what? I withdrew. I totally withdrew. I never expected good from anyone. I never expected anyone to like me, care about me, love me, whatever, except for my mother. So the shelter for me was my mother, and that relationship I had with my mother. That was my rock. That was my, and as I got older, when I got to 16 and I got baptized, even though my journey has been rocky in terms of church, but then I also understood that I was loved by God. And I think that put a different spin on things, because now at that time as a teenager, I felt I was better than somebody who is not a Christian. So because I am a Christian and I'm going to heaven at 16, I felt I'm so holy, I'm so righteous, I'm going to heaven. You're not a Christian. You ain't holy. You ain't righteous. I shouldn't talk to you. I shouldn't have anything to do to you. So you can see the lack of knowledge and teaching.
Yeah. And that was a complete switch from now you being withdrawn, people picking on you. Now you're so confident in yourself that you are looking at down and you know, were there people who were still at this stage thinking that you are the Miss Tushy, the one who thinks they're better off than anybody? So what you had, your experience as a younger child, you are now living out, would you say?
I think so. I think I was. Yeah, I think I was. And then at my mother's church, the practice was, because you're not of the world, you wouldn't isolate yourself. Absolutely not. But you're expected to behave, to conduct yourself a certain way. So you're not expected to be loud. You're not expected to dress a certain way. You're not expected to speak a certain way, especially in my mother's house, where even though my mother herself had just mid-secondary school education, my mother would bring the flair home every Sunday. There would be the Gleaner every Sunday, and I'd be expected to read it after we've had dinner. She would set the table. Actually, my mom, in terms of what she did earlier on before she had her own business, she ran her own restaurant, Lebanese, Chinese. She can cook anything. When I say anything, she would cook it. But she's a very strict person when it comes to sitting down at the table, eat properly, don't be loud as a young woman. She was against patois. I didn't have a problem with it, but you just do it. Don't do it around, because she's saying it make you too brawling, you're too loud, you're a high school student, you're a Christian. So all those sort of restrictions were there. And then being a Christian again, that was there. So all those things became my boundaries and my shelter that I found safety in without fully understanding the implications of them in terms of my approachability or how people would see me or view me. I wasn't thinking about how I would have been viewed or seen. All I was thinking about was preserving and protecting me from all those people who would try to come at me. So I found shelter in my mom, in the teachings, in the boundaries that I've found as my safety net.
So your mom was your rock. Now, before we speak a bit more about your mom, because she seems to have quite an influence on you, did you get anything from any teachers or anybody from a church setting? Because you mentioned church a lot, you were into church. Was there anyone at church who was supportive, who you look up to, who you got inspiration from?
Nobody at church, because what happened was, even at church, my pastor, she had about 9 kids. She's passed away now. The church that we grew up in as little kids coming up. And my mom, being separated from my father, was seen as a single mother with all these children, right? So then the ones who were married were looked upon favorably, but my mom, being single, always was seen as an outsider. And to so much of an extent that there's a married couple there who visited our house once. And then my mom got a doll for me from Canada. I don't know if she got it because she, at the time, had never traveled. But my mom knows people in high places. They can think of all those upper echelon people in Jamaica, from politicians down. My mom knew them very, very, very well. She has very good connections with people because of her business that she did. So she would get these things. I remember I had this really nice tall walkie-talkie dolly in those days, in the 80s, coming up to the 90s. And the person came by to have dinner with us and decided to take my dolly and throw it up on the roof. This is the deacon for the church. Yeah, say, what am I doing playing with a dolly? I'm a little girl. And he threw it on the roof. My mother didn't say anything because it's the deacon for the church. And then the other thing is, there was a girl at the church who had mixed race looking hair and skin tone and all of that. And she was seen as the prized person. My pastor's daughter, one of them, could sing absolutely beautifully. She was mixed race as well. And it was the very same behavior till people thought literally that she didn't poo. She was so fair-skinned here. So I'm telling you, the backward sort of, or primitive sort of mindset.
Yeah.
But Craig, it's funny because all of those things happening, my mother will always, always hear them. She knew better, and she would say to me, Sharon, only you can stop you from doing or being anything you want to do or want to be. Just make sure you don't talk about it. I suppose what she was trying to say is, don't let anybody kill your dream. just let God know about it. Tell me, don't tell anybody else, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a whole raft of different craziness that were going on.
But all those craziness, you were observing, you were seeing it, and it was having an impact on you because you're looking in a place where you should be having some comfort and some trust, but you couldn't find that. And they didn't realize that, they were making such a huge statement by them not doing something.
Oh, absolutely. And when I realized all of this, Greg, you'd never believe it. I've been walking around looking, possibly because people have said it, all confident and comfortable in my own skin all this time. But it's all been a protection, a facade just to keep me safe. I was always scared of being disrespected. I was always scared of being seen as rude. I was always scared of being seen as I don't know as anybody. I was just always very cagey, very sheltered, very I don't know how to, and it's about 3-4 years ago that I dug back to all of these, about 4 years ago, when I went through a whole 6 months, 7 months of talking with someone. It wasn't seen as counseling. So literally just meeting with this person every week, every Friday for about probably was about 8 months, 9 months, just going back as far back as possible, because I got to a point in my life where I felt as if this word humility was being taken out of context. Like, I felt as if I was not able to be my authentic self because I kept thinking so much about what people would say, how people would view me, what people would, it became too much for me. So we started having these conversations, and she committed her time to us just having these conversations on a weekly basis. And by digging back and pulling away at the layers, oh my God, I'm able to say, I understand my reference points. I understand the impact all of those childhood events have had on me. I understand why I was never able to even be vulnerable to say that we grew up poor. I never even wanted to talk about that because I just didn't want people to look down on me. I never wanted people to see me as, I don't know what I was just so scared. I just wanted to just leave this little layer, just see that layer, and that's it. You don't need to know anything else. I'm gone. That's it. Whatever you know, that's it.
So would you say then, looking back at all of that, you're thinking the reason why you probably were seen too short, standoffish, or, that was that defense or mechanism that was built in from a young age?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had to guard me. I had to, because you know what, you would fall apart. I would fall apart when I saw Waiting to Exhale, the movie. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. And I saw the bond with those four, Whitney and the other three. I know this is telly. I know it is. It's not reality.
Yeah.
But then many, many times, even at uni, even now, other times, I'll see the firm bond between friendships, this amazing bond with girls. And I just can never say I've ever had that. Cannot. And I usually wonder why. What is it about me? Why I cannot have this connection? Why? I don't think anybody even calls me their best friend. Apart from men I got along with. Yeah. I won't tell you. Yeah, we joke, we go to dinner, we have fun, whether you're single, married, or otherwise. Even I'm friends with men who are married and their wives. They understand. They don't say anything about us being friends. We don't go to dinner if it's a married man, we wouldn't go to dinner. But we link up. Even Ken, he knows my good friends. They talk very well. And, I just have this good friendship. But I never, ever, ever had the opportunity outside of my relationship with my mother to say I can call a girl my friend or think that girl will call me their friend. Always thought that they would, oh my God, no, I feel like I'm in therapy. I always see where I think I was always second to somebody in that female's life. I would never, ever be the person's loyal. They wouldn't be loyal to me to say they would choose me. If it came down to the wire, they would choose another girl. And I recognize that from very, very, very early on. So I know that that's the the level at which we sort of roll.
Yeah.
And I just keep it, be nice to people, just saying because I'm a Christian and I know I'm supposed to be. But if I had it my way, oh my God, I'd probably be surrounded by so many young ladies having dinner, going out for friendship, doing this, because I'm very sociable.
Yeah.
But if it's not going to happen, I'm not going to. And that's how I guard myself. That's how I protect myself.
So your mom was the rock and the one that you could always go to. What would you say you have taken from her as an adult now? What was it that this relationship taught you and the impact it had on you as a wife and a parent?
So many things I'll take from my mother. So many things. One, I would say that's negative. She was super protective, very protective of me. So if I'm going to go to the corner, she will tell me, careful, mind you get hurt, mind this person. So I wouldn't go to the corner, I would just stay home. But what I would definitely take away from my mother is her tenacity, the way she was very, very hardworking. There was absolutely nothing that she wouldn't do. I mean, you know, there are some things where you draw the line, but there's nothing my mother wouldn't do to protect her independence as a single mother. And believe you me, she would never let, even if you're married, you're in a stable relationship or anything, you are not going to be the one to see her as the beggar, because she's not going to. Even if it means we go to bed hungry, she'd rather that than even come and knock on your door to say, lend her 10 pence or quarter bread. We will go to bed hungry. I love that about my mother because it gave me the sense of pride. I love this about my mom because it makes me satisfied in whatever state I'm in. So if I've got a lot, I'm happy. If I have absolutely nothing, I don't care, because to me, tomorrow, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to have. And when I have, I'll share. You know, that's just it. And then I take away from my mother, her prayer life. Oh my gosh, I see where prayer has taken my mother through so many challenges, personal challenges, because one thing, she didn't get into arguments with people. That's another thing. No fighting, no quarreling, no live bad, whatever. She was a missional person. She's old now, 74, older, and not as strong as she would be before. But she would cook for the men who are living on the streets, on the bridges, who are insane. For years, she would cook the food. She can't drive, but she would get a vehicle and she would go and she would deliver food. She would get some people together as well, and she would go and deliver food to those people. Believe you me, Craig. Another thing she used to do when she came, when she left here about 3 years ago, every time she came here, she would pack a barrel and she would think of this lady around the corner who don't have anything. The cousin up the road who children need a proper trousers. The lady will beg or something. She's not
always
taking
thinking
that
about others.
She's not taking that barrel back for herself. It's going back for others. And if I'm going to Jamaica, I better make sure, say, there's a barrel pack for our house, but there's one that she can share from with others. What will I take from my mom? Oh, her inner strength. Her inner strength. She'll observe the way she was treated as a single mother among all those other married couples in the church, and you know, having all these kids and not with my dad and all of that. But she said, I'm not there for them, and at the end of the day, I'm not going to hell because of them. And she said she's not church hopping because of them. So whatever tribulation she has to go through, I couldn't understand it. Yeah, she just has this inner strength that just say, you know what, I'm not going to pay attention to those things. And we talk about it as mother and daughter. And even now today we were talking about some things that I know she hasn't shared with other members of the family. And I just know that that's just our bond. I don't, believe you me, Craig, I don't know what I would do without my mother. If my mother was not around, maybe I'd have gone loopy. Because the only person in the whole wide world apart from God that I can count and depend on. And then I met my husband, and that's a whole different story.
Yeah, we talk a bit more about you know, that relationship with you and your husband, but just going through all those experiences, and then you're in the workplace and you're leading. How did that impact your leadership and your management and working with others?
That's a very, very, very good question. And I approach leading and managing at work. Leading, I learned a long time ago. Nobody cares how educated you are. Nobody cares how beautiful you are. They want to know how you make them feel. They want to know if you care. And for that, I always set out. I don't know. I find it so easy to compliment people, and maybe they think I'm a hypocrite, or I don't know what they think. But it's the easiest thing to walk up to somebody and I see it. It's as if I can't hold it inside. I'm going to tell you, gosh, that red shirt looks good on you. And that sort
Thank
of,
you.
it does. And believe, and I know people try to say to me, oh, but you're always, I said, that's just me. It's who I am. So first thing I do is I'm authentic in the sense that if you look amazing, I'm going to tell you. If you have not done something right, I learned very early on, don't wait until later on to say to the person, oh, you always do this wrong or you always do that wrong. No, I'll draw you aside and I'll say to you, I noticed so-and-so, is it because of whatever or whatever? And I'll try to teach. If you want to listen or don't listen, it's up to you. But I want to maintain that level of honesty with the person where they know where I stand. If you've done an amazing job, I'm going to go, oh my gosh, that was amazing. If you haven't, the world is not going to know about it, but you and I are going to talk about it. And I maintain this limit where I try not to cross the line with staff, particularly junior staff. And I don't know, I always feel like an older sister anyway. So whether I'm the youngest or not. So I try to maintain authenticity. I try to maintain credibility. I try to maintain my integrity through consistency, because if you waver, meaning today you lean to this side and tomorrow you lean to that side, people won't know what to make of you and they won't think you're credible. Your integrity will be on the line. So it is a lot of work, because I'm not perfect and I will make mistakes and I will hold my hand up. But I always try to say, don't think I'm going to say it's red today and tomorrow I'm going to tell you it's green. I'm not going to do that.
So would you say the impact of things you have gone through have made you a more caring, supportive leader?
I really think so. And I think I'm watching how my mother deals with all these negative come-upons as well. Absolutely. And I always think as well, not just is God watching my back and he's looking out for all the things I can't see and fighting battles for me that I literally can't fight for myself. But I think that if you come at me with a really bad negative vibe or behavior, I retreat. That's right. But it doesn't mean I'm going to keep malice with you. But I will retreat, and then when I come forward, I'm coming forward from the very same professional standpoint. Whether you like me or you don't like me, I'm treating you the same with that level of professionalism. And you're not going to see different from me. Even if in my heart, I'm hurting, I'm pained, I'm sad, the way you behave towards me is just awful. I'm coming towards you with that same level of professionalism, because I want you to know, not that I'm better than you, but that I have to set an example. That's how I was brought up. But I'll guard myself. Next time, I'm not going to let my guard down.
Okay, so you're married and you had that close bond with your mom. You didn't have good relationship with girlfriends, but you had good relationship with male friends. How did that experience of youth and at a younger age affect or help with your relationship now as a wife?
I keep telling my husband that I'm married to my mother. I say usually girls marry their dad, but believe he's quiet like my dad, but he's got the patience. He's got the temperament. He's got this amazing listening ear. He's got this. I just know he's in my corner. I just know he's rooting for me. He's always saying to me when I have doubts and I lay myself bare, just tell him what's in my heart and everything. He'll say to me, Sharon, no, he'll say, honey, just be yourself. And then I will always question, what does that mean? And when I be myself, people think I'm too this, they think I'm too that. He said, child, just be yourself. You're funny. I'm not funny. He would tell me all these things about me that I had no clue. And I started believing it as my kids came along and they would say certain things to me. And it helped me to just, breathe and let it go, that it's okay just to be myself. I don't have to put up this guard. It's okay just to, just to be, you know, it's been a real journey. So yeah, in terms of relationship with men, he knew because when we met, I've got two best friends here. Both of them are married. And one of them, I met her here in dialysis, and her husband became my good friend, and we started business and whatever together. And she also, so when he left at one point, oh dear, she won't know. He left at one point and had another relationship, and she and I, oh, we went through this journey together in terms of, you know, praying for her and all of that. And then he came back and she was always saying to me, boy, Sharon, you're the only person who could really talk to him. And I said, I don't think I'm the one who talked to him to come back. I think what happened was that the Lord spoke to him for him to come back, you know? So we have that level of relationship, and Ken knows as well, even Ken, you know, helped to, because before we got married, they came to our wedding. Before we got married, Ken knew that he is literally one of my best friends. And then I've got another one who, he too, when we came here, myself and one of the other nurses, the same way, he was always around, you know, saying, you know, boy, as a young lady from Jamaica, the way you hold your head up, the way you're focused and whatever is always going on. So introduced me to his daughter, for me to mentor his daughter. So we had this bit of a circle going on, and Ken and them relate. But Ken never felt, he never felt anyway, because he knew there was openness. There wasn't anything shady going on. Like you, when you came and we were on the bus, there's nothing shady. I just know that the thing about me is that because I'm so complimentary, maybe people will think I'm flirting. I don't know. But no, I am a complimentary person. I want to be kind. I want to be seen as kind. And that was another thing about me growing up, is as if I wanted to be the perfect child.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's as if by being the perfect child, then it would be okay. But if I'm not the perfect child, then maybe I'll be ostracized the same way I felt when I was in school or with people at school or something. Boy, Craig, it's bad.
So,
I think
were you afraid of making mistakes then?
Absolutely. Not that my mother would kill me or anything, but it's like I just live to please her. I live to please her because she's my only friend.
Okay. Now, what is the impact of you then having children?
I became extremely, extremely protective of my kids. Oh my God, we'll have these talks all the time. I wouldn't burden them with how I felt or how I was brought up, but I would definitely, as soon as I notice anything, I'll say to them, you stay away from that person, or you listen, you don't need that. And we started this thing called Family Fun Friday, where I just thought, I want them to feel so firm with who they are and so strong inside that if they go to school and they feel they're being bullied, they don't internalize that. They feel so strong inside that all these things on the outside cannot knock them over. I am so firm about that. Even
and that is because of your experience. So your experience is impacting on your parenting skills.
Absolutely.
Do you find any of your children having traits that you see and you're wondering, why is they doing this? And you realize somebody saying, that's how you do things. Do you find that?
Not really, but what I find though is I get corrected a lot. Like when I say to my son, I don't want that, or I don't like, he will say to me, Mom, it's okay. It's not that deep. So I said, what does not that deep mean? They have to translate for me. And he said, Mom, it's okay. It's not anything for you to worry about. Just let it go. It's okay. You know, till things will happen at school with probably him and another guy. And after it's totally gone and blown over and dealt with, he'll say, oh, Mom, and you know, last year so-and-so happened. I'll be like, oh, you didn't tell me. He said, because Mom, it's not that deep. It's dealt with. It's fine, you know? While my daughter, she makes friends, but she's very loose with her friends. She's not overly connected to anybody. If they go tomorrow, she's fine. It appears. Is
that you coming out in her because you didn't have that friendship bond?
Quite possible.
Does it scare you to see some of these things coming out in your children and thinking, I don't want my child to go back through this, and what can I do to support? Do you have that feeling?
What scares me is that I don't want them to be negative about friendships.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be negative about relationships. I don't want them to be mistrusting. I don't want them to be cynical. I want them to live and enjoy relationship. And if it goes sour, it goes sour. If it goes right, it goes right. I just want to have them to have this mindset where they're strong inside, but at the same time, they are vulnerable. They let people in, but have the strength that when you do, oh, maybe it's confusing. Have the strength that when you do let people in, even though something may happen, you just say, well, it's one of those things, and you move on. Something like
having a positive outlook on whatever happens will happen, and we move on.
Yeah. Try not to have a shield where it by protecting you, you're keeping others out, so to speak.
Now, you have gone through all of this, and now you're here. Have you ever had the experience of someone coming up and saying, because of you, I have done such, and you have inspired me, and I have done this? And how does that make you feel, not knowing that you are in such having such an impact on whether it's your staff or friends or so?
Absolutely, Craig. Oh my God, I tell you, without even trying, what happened was at work, I remember my old place. Once I walked through ITU, mind you, I've never worked in ITU myself here. And this young lady saw me. I didn't even know she knew my name. And she called me. She said, come. And she pulled me around a corner by this column. And with tears in her eyes, she told me, she said, because of you, I am where I am. I said, oh, what? She said, I noticed the way, like, stealthily you just move. And she gave her own description. But she said, Sharon, you would never know how the impact you've had on my life because of the way you've carried yourself, you've operated, the things you've said, and how you've just set you've just got this blinkered focus, razor sharp focus on it. And I said, I didn't think so at all. And she said, yes, she met me on one of the wards when I was supervising about 5 or 6 wards at the time out of hours. And I had no idea she was admiring me or, felt that I was inspiring her. And since later on, I've gone on to done coaching courses and mentoring. So I've not actively been mentoring and coaching people. So those people, particularly if they're going for interviews, they'll say, come sister, what, funny enough, Craig, I'll just walk around, and if I see somebody at a certain band for a while, I'll say, why are you still here? Have you not tried to apply for so and so? And they'll say, boy, sister, nobody gonna give me a job. And then it's as if immediately I'm just drawn to say, I don't want you thinking like that. And I will take that person under my wings and help them. And when they get to band 7, then I'll just release them and say, what, at that now, but if I see particularly people of color who feel as if there's this glass ceiling, feel like, and I know that's how I used to feel as well, that you don't get past a certain grade when you're a certain color. It's a fight. It's as if I just try to help them to have that inner fight. And I think it's from childhood that I'm saying that fight is in me. I bring it now as an adult, and I'm trying to transfer that fight into somebody else to say, listen, don't sit down there and just accept life. Let life bounce at you and bowl you over. Fight back, push back, So as I go around, I'm not setting out to inspire. I'm not setting out to do anything. All I'm setting out to do is to say to people, you can be more than where you're at. You don't have to be a band 5 till you're 105 years old. You can climb. If it's not here, go somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's that you realizing that someone have been impacted by you start to think that, makes you more aware of how you do things, how and realizing that there's hundreds of people out there you have interacted with each day that you can be inspiring. And, with the advent of technology, how has that changed even your views on the impact you have with your social media presence?
Yeah, that's right. It has helped me so much more to put my voice out there, because in the end of the day, I said to myself, it's my Facebook page. I put on it what I want. If you want to interact with it, it's up to you. If you want to ignore it, it's up to you. But this is me according to my values, living out my values on social media. So if you scroll through my page, I will on Facebook have something there that will not be about putting anybody down or anything, but hopefully it will be something to inspire someone. If you go on my YouTube page, s.p. Scott, I've got something called Come Away With Me. It talks about from trauma to communication to finding time with yourself to introspect and reflect, and how that can help you to grow, to even how to wash your hands to prevent COVID, anything that can transform somebody's life. If you pop over to my Instagram page, it's the same. You will see stuff on there with me giggling because I love a smile. You know, you will see me with this massive crazy smile on my face, just, you know, with probably a little couple of lines trying to inspire someone. And even with the book that I've written, Visions from My Father, I am trying to say to somebody, if you let go and let God, meaning you're not going to be perfect in your walk in faith, but if you just say to the Lord, tell you what, I don't know me like you know me, and whatever is your decision for me, that's what I'm going to go with, and you have to be serious about that. He can give you the cheat sheet to success, and that's what I try to say to people with that book.
That's so profound. I mean, you know, I needed to hear that too from you. So right here and then, you're inspiring me and impacting me with those words of wisdom. Now, we almost coming to the end of this interview here, and I'm, you know, just so privileged to have Sharon with us, you know, sharing life and how she have been impacted by relationship, by family, by friends, and how she is now using that to influence others. Sharon, just on a lighter side, if you were to, I'm going to give you some words, and, you know, whatever comes to mind first, you're going to tell me what comes to mind. Not a very hard one. I say an easy one, mother.
Oh my gosh, mother. Just joy.
Church.
Oh, my rock. My rock.
Education.
Absolutely. Important.
Reading.
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt.
Food.
Ooh, love that.
Music.
Love.
Movie.
Depends on the genre. I'm in love with love. So if it's romance, yes. Anything else, hardly likely.
Travel.
Ooh, love.
Downtime.
Love.
Do you ever get serious, Sharon? I'm always wondering, do you ever get serious?
Well, I mean, as you know, I'm a school governor. Clearly, I can't go into that meeting and be giggling. But if I can find something to laugh about, I will. And when it comes to the things of God, I don't joke about people who brings the Lord's name in disrepute. I don't find that funny. I am not that I'm judgy. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying you're either or you're not, but don't allow other people to stumble because of your behavior or something, particularly if you know better. If you're not taught, you don't know better, you're probably the wrong congregation or the wrong people and you don't know. But once you know, I think the duty of man is to live and to set that path so that others can walk it and not look at you and stumble as a result of you. So yeah, I'm firm about those things. But again, I'm firm about my my kids behaving properly, having good manners. I'm not joking about that. But yeah, there are hardly anything that gets me mad, really. I just love fun, you know, love life, love it.
So are you like your mother that says, you know, you don't come into my house with any pot, where you don't come in and you have to have a set ceiling and standard?
Boy, I won't even joke with you. My children initially, had that, but then as they get older and I've had to relinquish my stronghold on them, I realize my daughter says things to me like, Mom, I just want to be me. I just want to be myself. And when you start hearing those things, you really have to step back. So with my son, he will just chill, Mom, just chill. It's okay. They'll say, oh, South London owns me. And I'm like, what? or they will say, fam. I'm like, what? Not in this house. I'm not having it. So I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
So for parents out there listening and saying they have had these instilled in them as a child and they grew up with these structures. What is it? Do we have to really? What would you say to parents about releasing their children and changing with the times and technology and all?
For me, I would say make sure that they know what is right. If they deviate a little bit, I firmly believe they'll come back, because the Bible does say train them up in the way in which they should go. And the values that you have, you impart these values of justice, of kindness, of fairness, the whole business of parity, of looking out for others, of loving God, loving your family, loving your own siblings, don't allow people to come and destroy your relationship with your siblings and all of those things, those core firm beliefs. I would say once you are sure that they're grounded in these truths, so to speak, if you just step back a little bit and see how they interact, how they get on, knowing that you've stepped back a little bit. And then as soon as you see that they're going a little bit away for a little while, as if they're unsure about how to come back, then you just be that guiding hand to get them back. But it's like teaching somebody English. I don't have a problem with Pato, absolutely not. Because for me, I'm comfortable with my English. So because I'm comfortable with my English, I can go Pato anytime. I don't care. Because if I'm to write it formally, I can do it. With my children, I say to them, you need to know the right thing so that when it is not right, you can, whether it's English, whether it's life, whatever it is, you need to know what is right. So anything that is not right, it cannot be gray. It has to be wrong.
Yeah, that's very well said. And for those out there, Sharon, as we come to a close, who are thinking that, I must doing my thing, no one is watching me, and I'm not making a difference to children, especially, what would you say to them?
You are making a difference. Once you're living once you're alive, you're making a difference to somebody. Somebody's watching you. They may not be either brave enough or probably they haven't come close enough to say it to you, but you are impacting lives. So it may sound like a lot of pressure on you, but to live a certain way or something, but you know what, with what God has given us, we've got a responsibility. He said he's put this treasure in earthen vessels. That's in us. And there's this treasure that we're carrying. And it's important for us to guard and guide and to cover and to, that vessel. But to understand that from that vessel flows either good or bad, flows life or death, flows happiness or sadness. Whatever flows from that vessel is going to impact somebody. So you decide what flows from that vessel. Don't think that nobody's paying attention. Oh, it's just me. I am in my small corner and nobody even knows that I exist. That's absolutely not true. I don't think so. Absolutely not true. You are flowing with something that if probably somebody sits with you one-to-one, you'll hear. Or if you just talk to God and say to him, Lord, am I really making an impact? Am I making a difference? And if you don't, even feel that's enough, you can even go a little bit further and say to him, teach me, show me how I can make a difference with this life that you've given me, how I can impact somebody positively with this life that you've given me, with this vessel, with this treasure that you've placed in me. So, don't think you are not. You are absolutely, once you're alive, you are impacting somebody, maybe somebody far afield, nearby, but you are.
Couldn't have said it better. You are flowing. That's what Sharon says. You're flowing. So live life knowing that you're flowing to impact others. Sharon, I want to thank you very much. Where can we get your books, and where can we, if you need to get in touch with you have mentioned your social media pages already. So tell us a bit more, so anybody listening, watching this, they can find your book and read it.
Yeah, if you would like a copy of Visions from My Father or Orchids and Roses, they're both available on Amazon. Orchids and Roses is also available on Barnes and Noble. If you would like a signed copy, which I absolutely love to do, is you can just drop me a message via Messenger. That's or any of my social media platforms. Just let me know, but it's just that I would need your address and that needs to be private. So I would say via Messenger, and then I'll be able to respond. So, and I also sell these books for my church building fund because my husband started pastoring about a year and a half ago. And as a result of him pastoring this assembly, we haven't yet got our own building. So what we do is we're renting. So that for me is my contribution as well to the ministry. So every copy that's sold goes towards the building fund. And I'd like to continue doing that with subsequent books until we get our own building. Then I can probably do something else with it. But yeah, so Barnes and Noble, Amazon, or send me a message and I'll send you your personal signed copy of either books.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for joining us and for sharing on impact. Remembering you are impacting others by your living. Thank you very much. And bye. Until our next episode, I'll see you.